Fire away.
All right, so your first meeting this year with Michigan State, is it all the same Michigan State stuff as every year, rebounding, transition defense, things like that, or is this team any?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously, they have very good guards that can break you down. They can score in bunches. I think, obviously, with Tyson Walker's ability to put up big numbers, which he did in the one game against us last year, but also Hogard. We had a tough time in the Big Ten tournament a couple years ago, keeping him in front of us. And staying with those guys, Akins' percentages are great. I know he didn't have a good game last game, but normally when guys have great percentages and struggle in a game, they normally shoot pretty well the next game. So, like, those three guys, put you in a bind just because it's three guys that can get into the paint and do different things, but they all can be very, very effective. And then Malik Hall's really played well. And obviously he played well in February, and I think he's averaged around 18 in February. But just his ability to make shots, make plays, post up, drive it, just a very, very versatile, player. So I think that's, from us, from a defensive standpoint, like, I think that's where it starts with. It doesn't mean they don't have other guys that can hurt you, because they do. But I think first and foremost, we're going to have to do a good job of being with those guys and making it hard on them.
They've always gone one-on-one on the post, and I can't speak for them, but they got a lot of moving parts to the five right now.
Right.
Do you have to just kind of be ready for anything more?
Yeah,
like you always do?
Yeah, that's how we are anyways. With no matter who we play, we'll see a different look at times from people because Zach is so unique. So, yeah, that's, we're ready for them to play one-on-one. We're ready for them to double with their big. We're ready for them to cover down ball side, like, whatever, delayed doubles, like whatever it is. We've seen a lot of things. It doesn't mean any of those things can't be effective, because they can. And you've seen us where we've had success against everything that I mentioned. You see where some of that gives us trouble at times. So you just got to make good decisions and understand what they're doing and how they're going about it.
You mentioned all year kind of doing the things to get back to the situation you were in a year ago.
Right
now you have a chance to go at least clinch a share of the Big Ten. So these guys, I mean, you want them to buy in, but it seems like you're at the situation now where it's like, okay, everything's in front of us that we thought if we played well.
Yeah, proud of our guys. It's hard for where we sat last year when we lost at the end of the year to say, hey, we got to fight like hell and battle to get ourselves in this position. Again, to hopefully, have a chance to win a Big Ten championship and do well in the Big Ten tournament. And then obviously, most importantly, do well in the NCAA tournament. But our guys have done a really good job, and just trying to, keep our focus and keep playing with the purpose and just doing a lot of little things.
You got a long time off since the last game. What kind of extra things do you do when you've got that extra time? Is it just off time?
Give them more time off. So we took off Monday and Wednesday. I don't like to go 3 days in a row without practicing, so we practiced Tuesday and then obviously practiced yesterday and practiced today more than anything. But we don't go. We'll get to about an hour and 15 minutes of actual basketball stuff, and that's about it. Just a little different late in the year to have a game, even though it seems to happen every year where the first time you're playing somebody is in March or late February, something like that. So obviously playing Michigan State now, they're not new to us in terms of a staff or, seniors and juniors on your team, but just the fact that, now you're not talking about playing somebody for that second time where you're a little bit familiar just like they are.
Kind of feels like, you look at Ohio State's roster, and you mentioned when you look at the players individually, really good team, just they didn't put it together. Michigan State feels like, when you look at the individual talent, and that's a roster that's pretty scary.
Yeah, no question about that. I think, we talked about it with Ohio State, and just trying to get that consistency of everybody, playing well together or playing well enough, to put themselves in a position to win. Obviously, Ohio State's been able to do that. And Ohio State's last 2 wins, they did it, without Jamison Battle at Michigan State, and they did it without Bruce Thornton last night against Nebraska, 2 teams that are slotted in to go into the NCAA tournament. So it just kind of shows you if you're doing things well and doing things collectively, you can win some games. And Michigan State's guard play is something that Hogard's a guy that's had big games in the NCAA tournament, had 25 points in the NCAA tournament game. So his ability to break you down, his ability to make plays and set up his teammates, to go along with Akins and Tyson Walker's ability to score. And then, Malik Hall's played so well. And so, like, when you think about those four guys and four, main pieces, they have a lot of bodies to throw at you at that center slot. They bring in Cohen Carr, who is as athletic as anybody in the country. And though I haven't even mentioned Holloman. Holloman's had a great year. He's really improved with more opportunity from his freshman to sophomore year. He makes good decisions. He's a good shooter. His percentages from three, and it's timely. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, to come off the bench and not get as many shots or many opportunities as everybody else and still shoot a really good percentage. But Holloman's really played well this year.
With most of the season in the books now, obviously Trey playing next to Zach, have you gotten out of that what you intended to when you worked that in the summer?
Yeah, but I'm also at the luxury of being able to play other people there too. And so, like, obviously Mason Gillis is a starter for us, even though he doesn't actually start, plays more minutes than Trey. And, he gets that advantage, especially late in games, because Mason, is our best, percentage-wise, our best free throw shooter. He stretches the defense for us. But no, Trey's done a really good job. He's had some other games where he's got involved a little bit more. I think when you play alongside Zach, sometimes the attention they give him can really help you. And then there's other times where, we play through Braden so much and we play through Zach so much. If you can't get some things off the glass, it's going to be hard for you. You got to kind of organically be able to find your way. But you also got to do other things. You're not always going to score. I think you see that with everybody in our lineup, outside of Zach. It's not always going to be your game to score. You got to keep doing little things, and he's done a good job of that.
You sort of view that position like you used to when Zach and Travion were together, and you view it as the collective productivity.
Right, no question.
Tom, you two seem to have a lot of respect for each other. He's one of the last of his generation of great coaches still around. How has your guys' relationship evolved, and then just what has he meant for the Big Ten Conference?
Oh, it's good. He does a lot of stuff, on a national level and a conference level, trying to improve the game, and we serve on a lot of committees and different things together. So we've had a lot of conversations of how messed up things are, more than anything, but also trying to be solution-based. We have an archaic system, and our system is grossly flawed. And so just trying to, instead of complaining all the time, trying to figure out, how can we go about this to get some things changed so it can be better for everybody. But no, I've learned a lot from him. I've learned a lot from, all the guys you're really referring to, the Bo Ryans, the Thad Matas, the guys that have been overly, consistent in our league and won championships. And so, I think that's the one thing to draw from this league is just the coaching. John Beilein would always talk about how good the coaches were. But to me, instead of kind of being in all of it, learn from them. Learn from other teams, learn from other coaches, see what works, see what doesn't work, see what fits, and things of that nature. So there's a lot of things that I've taken, from him, really from just watching film. It's not something I pick up the phone and, you don't ask your people you compete against for basketball advice, really. But just watching film and seeing how they make adjustments and how they do things.
It's been 10 years since I've won here. For whatever reason, it seems
really?
Like 2014.
Okay.
You didn't. Do you have recollection then of you guys picking up your level against them, or for whatever reason, or is there a reason?
2012. I know we weren't very good in 2014. I know that. 2013 and 2014, we didn't go to the tournament, right? Is that right? Robbie Hummel's a senior in 12. Okay.
Those were the CBI year, I think.
What's that?
The CBI year that we don't talk about.
There you go. I was the only one that wanted to do it. I wanted to see who wanted to still play basketball. So when you get in there and you're doubting people in the room who love the game, I wanted to see it. I don't think anybody on my staff wanted to. I don't know if anybody on my team wanted to. But to me, it was like, hey man, we got to get this figured out, because I really don't want to teach third grade. Even there's nothing wrong with teaching third grade, I just didn't want to do it. They obviously had a really good run against us before that. I think you saw that with Ohio State too. It was really tough in those stretches, and I think we've done a better job of piecing the team together and being more competitive. in our head-to-head matchups. But things are cyclical, man. Things can go the other way real quick, and obviously they have an unbelievable advantage at the Breslin Center, and we have an unbelievable advantage here. It doesn't mean they can't win here. It doesn't mean that we can't win there. But it's just really hard to win on the road, and especially against a quality program like Michigan State.
This is kind of random, but when Paul left and became a head coach and came back, how much does that help, just having another head